Hey guys, and welcome back to another interview. As you can see, I am joined by MiniBoo, Champions finalist, one of the kings of EMEA. How are you doing this morning?
Hello. I'm good. Uh, Played some ranked today, streamed, woke up at 6 a.m. because I went to LA
Mm.
last couple of days, so I'm a bit jet lagged, so it's like hard for me to sleep.
Yeah, I woke up. I saw you went. Oh yeah, I'm good for the interview. And then I saw 5 hours ago, can't sleep live stream, and I was like, oh god, what am I getting myself into? Well, I'm gonna start things off back before anything Valorant related, and I want to know what got you into gaming. Like, what was the first video game you remember playing, and how did you just start gaming in general?
I mean, when I was young, like me, Boo, and one more brother, we shared one PC, and like the first game I played is CS 1.6, I think. I like to play against bots, like on that map pool with
Mm.
grenades, against bots. It was like so funny for me. And yeah, mainly I played like CS 1.6. Then I played a bit of League of Legends,
Okay.
like season 2 or 1. I mean, I was like 6 years old playing Kha'Zix and Mastery, just spamming jungle. And I was like super excited to play CSGO. I played on my brother's global account and I was like killing 5. And he was kind of mad that I'm playing competitive. So one day he just decided to spend 10 euros and to buy me like my own account, and I was like so happy.
Well, I was gonna say because I'm pretty sure I've spoken to Boo before, and I started casting Lithuanian tournaments. That was the how I
Yeah,
started my career, and I think he
Interpret, right?
played. Yeah, and he played in those tournaments.
Yeah, he
So
told me.
was that did you ever play anything like that, or were you a little bit too young to because I'm an old man at this point. I've been doing this for 8 years.
I mean, I think when I was like 11 years old, I
Hmm.
reached Faceit level 10. When I was like
Okay.
12 or 13, I had like 3k yellow. I think I was good, but no one like kinda played with me, and no one took me serious because me and my brother like we shared PC, so I could play only 2 hours a day. So
Okay.
while playing only 2 hours a day, I reached 3k elo like on 13 years old. I think like that's pretty awesome when I look back now. And I remember like some of the players played with me. Like one of the players who played with me and actually like recognized me was JL. Like
Okay.
I played with him and he always said that like I'm playing good and I have potential. So that was like kinda
It's so
good.
one of the people I played a couple of Face It games with before was Esperanto, who
Yeah, I know.
again Lithuanian guy who, and I imagine it would have been the same scenario if I'd played with you, where I was in my 20s. I played with someone who was, I think, 16, 15 years old. He dropped 68 kills and we won in regulation, and I had like 12. That so I think you were better than me when you were 11, which kind of hurts me a little bit, but I'll take it. But how did you then get to pro? Like, what was the gap? Did you play any Counter Strike like at a professional, semi-pro level, or was it Valorant was your first like pro game?
In CS:GO, I never played professionally. I did practice with some people. Actually, a funny thing is, I practiced and was in the team with Wonderful that is now in Navi,
Oh, okay.
and also with Tak, who is now like G2 Academy or something in CS:GO.
Hmm.
So I played with like some people, but we were playing like bugs. That was like nothing serious because, as I said, I didn't have like PC. And then when I was like 15 and a half, my brother decided to buy PC, and my like parents allowed me to have one as well because like they didn't let me because they wanted me to study.
Okay.
So when I got the PC, I thought I'm gonna grind CS:GO, but I just like tried Valorant, and my brother told me like slowly to. He said that there is way more potential in Valorant, so I moved kinda. So yeah, it was my first game. Like Valorant was my first esport.
Well, that was another thing. I went back through like some of your old matches, and 2021, you played a team that people might know called Gambit. It was you, Boo, Dreamass, Loudly, and Kriegon. 2 months before they won Masters 1, and you you guys beat them. Like what the hell? Like how have you? How does that even? You beat the team that won Masters, the legendary Gambit team. Was that like your third match or something? It's something insane.
Yeah, like when I tell to people that I beat the world champions like 1 month before they are world champions, when I was like young, they were like, "Oh my god," like I used to brag like this, "Oh my god, I beat the team." I mean, I remember like Gambit didn't take that tournament seriously. They tried out some comps, like Nat was
Mm.
playing Killjoy, that was like really unusual. They tried some different comps, but obviously like there's still Gambit versus the mix, and
Yeah.
I mean, he just. I remember I was like so nervous and so excited. I mean, I still have a clip. If you would wait like 1 or 2 minutes, I could show you maybe a clip from that game that I hit.
Hey, if you want, how about after this, send me the clip and I'll
Okay,
insert it into
okay,
the
yeah.
video. I was
I'm gonna try to find it because I mean it's on my Twitter somewhere for sure. So I'm gonna try to find it. It's really funny because I was like, you hear from my voice how nervous I was. Like it was just pure pressure.
That's awesome. Well, moving on from that, you ended up playing with GMT, Arctic, and obviously Kase, which I'm sure many people know. It seemed like you were steadily like getting better and better as you went along, but I kind of wanted to ask, what team do you believe you learned the most from? Like of the teams that you played, obviously before Heretics, where do you think you grew the most as a player?
Honestly, like let's take it one by one. In GMT, I played only 3 months, and that was like off season. There was no Challengers League yet,
Mm.
so that was my like first experience in tracking ever. That was like my kind of head start, and then like I think there I understood how hard it's gonna be for me to study and play, because
Mm.
I remember I got burned out like after 1 or 2 months because I was like waking up at 7 and tracking until 10 or 11.
Okay.
So it was like really hard for me. Then in Arctic, I kind of like already expected that's gonna be hard, and I was actually like playing good. I got MVP I think 2 times.
Mm.
No, I got MVP 1 time in the Spanish league while like we lost everything. That was like kind of cool. And I think the most experience I got with Kasia, honestly, like uh, because the level was kind of higher of the team, by itself. So I learned from the players, and overall, like playing with kind of higher level. I guess I, I don't know, like I guess in Kasia overall.
Okay. So I kind of wanted to then look at like as that was I would say your first like team that could compete with some of the best. Would you say that like for the Ascension system, like I kind of want to know from your perspective. You made it to Ascension, you won the Spanish League. Ascension didn't go amazing, but what would you say is the toughest thing about playing through that tournament? Because from the outside, at least for me, Ascension looks brutal. Like it looks like such a long road to try and fight through. So, what was most difficult for you?
In Ascension, I remember our first game I was against Apex, and then was Gentlemates. So like two best teams were
Yeah,
our
true.
first opponents, and the stakes are higher, and like I think I remember when I played against Apex and Gentlemates, I really struggled uh, with pressure. I was like really shaking, and I was like so scared to play. But there in Ascension, even though we lost, I learned kind of how to use that as a fuel
Mm.
and still perform. So about the format, I don't know. Like I think the format is kind of good. You play at least 4 matches, so that's great. And I don't know. Like I think it's actually good. It's not like in VCTs, not double elimination. You even play 4 games. Like
Yeah.
so that's kind of nice.
Okay. Well, there's something else I wanted to touch on because I remember you talking about it in the past. While you were grinding through tier 2, you were making your name known. Your brother was already on Heretics, and you've kind of spoken about it before that I don't know if it was like difficult to watch or more so just like the criticism that he received. Like, what was it that made you know that okay, like this is not a reflection of him as a player? Because I think you said that from the get go. Like, my brother is very good at this. My brother is very good at this. Blah 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 blah. And then, but in that season, it was horrific. But I don't think at any point you doubted his ability.
I mean, that season, me and my brother, like, we barely spoke to each other because brother was like in Berlin
Mm,
and he was having a rough time, as you said. So
yeah,
he didn't want like mm, to speak a lot. Also, I was like doing school and also like playing and focusing on myself. So we barely spoke that year. But I know that like it was a rough year. Like it was really hard for him. But I think he learned a lot. And from the side, like yeah, I saw people kind of flaming Boo. I was not gonna lie, I was scared for him because I thought he's gonna get kicked
yeah,
and like people will not believe in him just because they like look at the stats, you know. But like I was scared for him to fall out of tier one because I know that like he deserves it, but it was like kind of hurting for me to see how he like drops like low numbers, you know. I just knew that it's not about his mechanical aim, it's like about the environment, I guess, in the team and like about his
yeah.
confidence. And yeah, I always wanted for him to succeed. And my mom was like kind of always believing that I'm gonna play with him and
Mm.
that we are gonna both succeed. So like that kind of happened. And yeah, I mean, I'm really happy that he's winning because he
So
deserves it.
this is a I this bit we may even cut this if this is wrong, but I heard a rumor that before, so obviously you joined in 2024. I heard a rumor that there was a chance you would have joined Boo before, but he didn't believe that you were ready for tier 1. That was something someone said to me once. I wanted to ask, is there any truth to that?
No, the
Okay.
reason like I I got offers. I think there was talks with Koi, Giants, and Heretics.
Hmm.
But I was 17 years old, and since I didn't play in any VCT, I was not allowed to play
Ah,
like
okay.
kayak, not kayak, like elite and like sayonara now, you know, like.
Hmm.
And that time I remember I was talking to Alpha, and Alpha like he played before in VCT, so he could play, but he's
Yeah.
the same age as me.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
that was I think they did that for the first year. You had like you were allowed to come up so that they didn't have someone in challenges or that was in challenges before that would then get kicked from the league. But if you were
yeah,
new, you couldn't be brought in. Okay, that makes sense. Because I remember someone saying that to me, and I was like, I've met these guys. That doesn't sound accurate. But Boo is also. I always call it like the big brain. Like he sees 10 steps ahead even when he's just having a conversation with you. So I don't know if maybe there's something there.
yeah. And also like it's not Boo's decision to take anyone into the team. Like it's not that
Mm,
he cannot say that, oh, for sure we need to pick him up, or no, for sure we cannot pick him up, you know. Like
yeah.
even last year in Heretics, everyone like Boo didn't take me, you know, like the team took me, kind of like Benji, Neil, and Bozo.
Okay. So I kind of you sort of mentioned it already that Ascension itself for the team Casse didn't exactly go to plan. I think you went out with 0 maps 1. Were you a little bit worried after that event that maybe you wouldn't be picked up for tier 1, or did you already have people going, okay, no, this guy we're gonna talk to him if Casse don't manage to make it through?
Um, I knew that Heretics want to trial me
Okay.
because Neil texted me like I think kind of early into the season. I think it was during the Ascension. Neil
Yeah.
texted me or before Ascension that he wants to trial me. He would like to probably trial me.
Okay.
Um, and I kind of knew that I'm at least gonna get like one trial to VCT. And after the tournament, of course, I was devastated because I hate to lose and I want
Mm,
to win everything. So it was obviously like super sad for me because it was so important to me. But I was a bit scared, kind of, you know.
yeah. Well, it's so sort of heading into Heretics. This was like the bulk of the last year. I think it was made clear to most people outside that this Heretics roster was one being built for the future. Like the goal was not necessarily to build for 2024. It was a lot of young talent. Was that set to you? Like did that reduce pressure? Like people saying to you, okay, this year doesn't matter as much as going forward.
Yeah, obviously, like we talked about this, we set our expectations. I said like I expected to us to at least go to internationals, so we kind of did it. We said that like maybe not this year, but next year we're gonna win like trophies. But like once we qualify to Madrid, I think everyone in the team like understood that we can win trophies even this year because we played very good. And
Mm,
about the pressure, like I think it's not only about that. It's like everything is so clear and open and honest that like there is no like shady stuff or something. Everything is like so clear. We talk really honestly to each other, so that
mm.
makes like it relieves the pressure because there is no like some talking behind the back or anything. Like you just believe in the team and you understand that if you're gonna do your job, like everything is gonna be all right.
I also wanted to sort of then ask, like, I think at the beginning of the year, most people's expectations was that this team would be fairly low down. Like you had Boo, who had, as said, a pretty horrible 2023. Benji, who was, a lot of people thought he was being brought in for clout. I think Rien's, most people didn't know really
Yeah.
anything. Woot wasn't going to be allowed to play. You'd just come off the back of 4 straight losses, and Paditek, who was standing in. When was the moment that you went, oh shit, this team's actually really good? Because like for us, I think it was like, okay, maybe this team scrapes into the middle of the table, but being at the top was just not even on the cards.
I mean, from the trials, like I think I was the first person that they picked up,
Hmm.
and then I was like they took me, and I was like kind of talking with them as well, and I remember that they planned to take Wood, and I was like super happy that they take Wood because I talked with Wood before as well, and I really wanted to play with him because I knew that he was like super insane,
Hmm.
and then when they told me that I'm gonna play with Rians, like in trials. I was like kinda what the fuck? Like I didn't know Rians at all, like
Yeah.
I knew that he's an S2G, I heard of him, but I didn't think he's a good player. So I was like didn't expect anything from him. But once I played with him at least one time, I was like, what the fuck? Like this guy is actually good, like he's actually like really good player.
Hmm.
And after like think Rian's played with them like 2 or 3 times, and they already like wanted to take him. That was like on the end of the trials. Like they trialed at least 7 or 8 people before him, and then Adrian's was I think the last one on his role to trial. And
Fair.
and when they took him, I was like we were saying from the beginning, from the off season, that this team is like super insane and we have so much potential. Like we always believed in it.
That's fair. To be honest, seeing how he played, I think it was quite easy to tell that he was something special. I want to touch on one thing, and again, this is another question where I don't know if you want to answer this, but Heretics said they were building for the future and that it was going to be a long-term project. Carmine Corp also said that. Now, going into this year, they've scrapped their whole team, so I'm not going to make any comments on that. But was there ever a part of you that went, okay, they're telling us this is a long-term project, but if we do shit, they're going to kick us?
I mean, obviously, like if you do shit anywhere, if you don't try, then you're gonna get kicked. That is like I think pretty obvious.
Yeah.
But I don't know, like Neil and Weber, like those two guys, I believe in them,
Hmm.
and I always believed in them because they didn't give me any reason to not believe them. Like everything they said, they were like speaking honest. You know, so I never had doubt in them.
Did you trial for anyone else?
Actually, no.
No.
Like,
Okay. I bet they're
like
kicking themselves now.
I mean, tier two teams invited me. Like I
Yeah.
got kind of like decent trials with tier two, but I think I said no. Like
Okay.
there's like not very very good teams, but kind of decent teams, and I kind of said no. And I remember that Vitality wanted to trial me, but they text me, and then they waited like 3 or 4 weeks, and they never text me back. Like they
Oh.
said, "Oh my god, we want to trial you. Oh my god, yeah." And then for 4 weeks, like no response. That was kind of weird from them.
Mm.
So yeah.
They're lost. That's what I'm gonna say. They're lost. So the scenario, obviously, with the team was an interesting one. You had Woot, who was too young to play, Paditek standing in. What was like the? I guess what was the sort of vibe around the team? Because I think obviously it was a scenario where Paditek was only there for a limited amount of time, but the way you guys were, it didn't seem like that. It was like he was part of the family, even though you knew at some point he would have to leave.
I mean, yeah, if you're talking from Patitech's side, he just got kind of kicked for no reason from Kase, and
Mm.
being in Heretics, I think like we asked him before that if he wants to be sixth. He said no, I want to play, and it's better for him to play in tier 2 than to be sixth. But then he got
Yeah.
kicked from Kase, and we asked him again, and then he said yes. So we were like
Okay.
super happy to get him, because we thought that we have to get another person, but like we wanted Patty so bad because like
Mm.
he's so good. And I think for Patty, when we qualified to Madrid, like that's when like it became real for him, because like that's a very good chance for him to show himself in tier 1. And like that's what happened. He showed himself, and hopefully this year next year he's gonna be in his own team.
Yeah.
And
So
Patty like is just a funny guy, and we got along with him. You know.
that's good. So your first three games were Foot, KC, and Navi. Now, two of those teams were obviously proven rosters. It was Navi getting Artist back and being that like team that had made and won a Masters. Foot, I think, had been at Champions the year before, and KC were like a new team on the block. Now, those are the three teams you obviously beat to get to Masters, but along the way, like, were your expectations already okay? We can beat all of these teams, even though you were that sort of like young roster and playing with a stand-in.
I mean, when we knew that we play against Foot, I think in that time we ranked Foot as the best EMEA team. Like
Fair.
even we thought Fnatic are like second at that moment, even though like they won 2 events last year, but we set Foot as the best team in the EMEA. And coming to that event, we had super good preparation. Like we had unique play style. I played Neon, I played Yoru. We had a lot of good strats, a lot of good preparation. And in practice we were like confident in our like strategies and etc. But like that was kind of question mark because we didn't play officials for 2-3 months,
Yeah.
and all the officials we played in off season we kind of lost the focus to Footballist, to KC, you know. So it
Mm.
was to UCAM as well. So it was like big challenge for us.
So something I'm starting to real now that I've thought of the Gambit thing. Your eighth ever game was beating Gambit. Your fifth ever VCT game was at Masters. Is it something like is your career going by too quickly? Because I think you have the fastest rise ever. But like, was it weird because of the kickoff format that literally your fifth ever VCT game was on a Masters stage?
It I think it happened too quickly. Yeah, like as you said, in my head, I didn't have time to process that. Oh, I'm actually going to masters. I
Mm.
only realized after masters, and I think when winning against Navi and going to Madrid like was one of the my like happiest day in my life. Like that was like actually like I was so happy. Like it's
I
just
can
pure
imagine.
pure happiness. I don't know how to explain it.
Mm. Well, you kind of touched on this already. The Paditek was a teammate. You hit high highs with him. I know you guys have nothing to say about him, but he's probably going to be an opponent, as you said, next year. Is there going to be any bad blood? Is there going to be any like fight in you to beat Patatek more than anyone else, or is it all love between you guys?
No, I don't think there's any like hate. I think in my eyes surely like top 10, top 15 player in Europe. I think he's really good. Like honestly, we played with him in Tarik and Ludwig
Mm.
recently. I think like he's a really good player, and it just like I would be happy to play against him. You know.
Okay. I'm definitely looking forward to it. Now, EMEA stage one, I would say, started a little bit slow for you guys, especially off the back of Masters. Then Woot stepped into the team and you won every single game except the final, which I'm going to touch on a little bit later on. But what is it with Woot? Because I watched him back in like the Fireflux young team. He had unbelievable aim then, but the fact that he came in and you guys just dominated immediately.
Yeah, I remember Wood. Then he was like, I remember like I felt that he was really nervous.
Mm.
Um, and Wood then and Wood now is like two different things. I think he improved so much, like during the Shanghai, because like his first games he was like so tense, he was like so nervous, you know, and then like he became more relaxed. And Wood is just I don't know, like the best word to describe Wood is just like he's Wood, you know, like he is unique.
So if
He's just
anything, you need to explain other people. Like this guy is almost Woot. That's like the best confident. That is like the best compliment you can give.
I mean he's just cold-blooded serial killer, you know.
So something a very different sort of line. You took a break for Shanghai due to school and obviously burnout. I think those were the two things that were said. Was there any like sort of fear of doing that? Because I feel like for like a lot of people's perspective is if you're a pro player, you can't take breaks. It's not that the org will stop you. It's not that like anyone else will stop you, but it's just that fear of okay, what if the team does better without me? What if like blah blah blah? Was that something you had to think about when you took that break? Because like as you said, making a Masters was a huge deal. You make another one, and then you're like, no, I'm gonna think about myself this time.
Okay, so like for Shanghai, the situation was that in the start of the whole thing, I said that I have to finish school, like no matter what, and
Yeah.
like the team understood that. So during Shanghai playoffs, I would have to go home. So max
Ah,
what I
okay.
could play is play groups. So obviously, like I wanted to play groups, but I knew that I cannot play playoffs. But kind of Boo stepped in, Boo, Neil, and Weber, and like we discussed that it's better for me to stay home and like fully finish. You know, like
Okay.
if they wouldn't talk about it, I would just go and play groups and then come back. But like that was the best decision that we made.
Yeah. I will say that moment basically made me even more of a Heretics fan. The fact that they did that because I do think maybe some other orgs wouldn't have done. Again, not gonna go into that. But like post Shanghai, I know that one of the hot topics was does Woot stay on Duelist? Is it worth moving MiniBoo back into that role? Like, obviously, I think you'd proven yourself already, but for a lot of fans, he did so well that it started to cause questions. Again, was that tough to deal with for you coming back into the team? Like, okay, we made Masters, we made Shanghai with me, but now I still have to prove myself again.
Yeah, kind of. There was like unconsciously, that's what you said. I like those things happen.
Mm,
About the roles, Wood didn't want to play duelist. Like there was no conflict at all. He
yeah,
just didn't want to play duelist anymore. And yeah, like some things happened that me and Wood kind of struggled in stage two because we kind of were unconsciously like competing against each other because of the social media. Like everyone
yeah,
was like saying, "Oh, Wood is like so good on duelist." Like I was actually like feeling bad because there's like set standard from people's perspective, you know, that I have to play the same. And
yeah,
Wood set like the standard for him to also like drop 30 every game. So we were like,
yeah.
so we were like kind of that we were about like on a slump before Seoul, but we
Mm.
talked it out like by just talking many hours with the team together and just being honest, and we kind of fixed it before it's like even happened, you know.
With it, that's something else I kind of want to just touch on is I feel like you look at ranked players, and most ranked players, they're the best player in the world, and everybody else is a noob teammate, and that's why they lost. I feel like you're the opposite. I feel like you could drop 25 kills in a game, and if you lose, you go, it's on me. Like, what is it with your personality where you are, you're very self critical for someone who is as good as you are?
I mean, I think that's like me and Rian's. That's kind of bad habit to always blame it on yourself. You know, like you kill four, but you like kill
Yeah.
you whiff on the last one. You're like, I'm so bad. You know, like, that's kind of stupid. But that's like the habit me and Rian's the most like have. Um, I mean, I'm gonna talk about myself. I always, as I said before, I always want to win.
Hmm.
And if we lose, like I never in my life like I lost and I like think, oh my god, we lost because like one player didn't do anything.
Yeah.
That thing, you know, like it doesn't help you to win next game. You know, like if you see a mistake, you will tell it to your teammate that next time don't do this. But like you always try to focus on yourself first, what you could have done better, and
Hmm.
then like then you think about team thing. You know, because I think if you don't expect yourself, if you think that, oh, I did everything correctly, like that's when you realize that your ego is too high, and that's when you like understand that like it's not right. Like
That's
you can always do better, you know, always in every situation.
me
So
and my
that's like the
plat
mindset.
teammates. That's me. So I wanted to then talk about champs. You were in the group of death. I don't think that's even arguable. You had a tough game versus FPX, but I do also think that people underplayed how good FPX were. I want to know what the feeling was like. Obviously, you weren't there when they lost the final to Gen G. You come back in the team. You've had a lot of people questioning you, and one of the first things you do is beat Gen G. How did that feel on the stage? Because I feel like that must have felt pretty good.
I mean, first games, it was very shaky for me. I was like on first game and like first round, I just fell out of the map in a bit.
Yeah, I remember. I remember.
Yeah, and like you could even like a guy who doesn't play Valorant, he could actually notice that I'm like super nervous, you know. So
Hmm.
first game were like I was super nervous, but yeah, um, obviously it was so good to win against Chenji. Like that game was super close, and the FPX one as well.
Hmm.
I mean, it was really close, and it was like that Chenji match was like one of the hardest matches that I have ever played. You know.
Wow. I think almost just to round this off, I think it's safe to say that people should stop asking questions about MiniBoo. I think you've definitely proven yourself at this point. You were a team that was built for the future, and yet you made it to multiple finals. You made it to all the internationals. Do you ever, like, firstly, what are your goals for next year? But also, do you worry now that you guys have kind of set the bar a little bit high? Because everybody's expectations on you now are you have to win. Like, that is basically it.
I mean, as you said, like you said, like people should stop like hating on Minibo or something. Like
Stop doubting,
that,
yeah.
yeah, doubting. Like that's the thing. Like people will never stop. You know, like people will always talk, and
Mm,
people like that's how it is. Like for hundreds or and thousands of years, like people like to talk and like to criticize, and it doesn't matter like really what people say, but for like ourselves, obviously we set our bar high and we don't want less than that. Like obviously we want a trophy, we want to win, and I think we have like kind of advantage above all other teams because they kind of need to start over, like building the team, getting like the fundamentals,
Yeah.
and we already have done like that when you build a house, like you that structure you built,
Yeah.
and it's already built. So we have like everything is on our hands. If we like keep grinding, we can actually like reach trophies. Like my goal for next season is 6 trophies and no less.
Okay, okay. I think I've got my title and thumbnail. Thank you very much. So I wanted to finish just by asking you about some of the stuff for next year. Firstly, I think EMEA might have the coolest like rumors, like the team rumors and player signings. Obviously, just before this video is recorded, Les has just signed for Vitality. I wanted to ask, you don't have to say maybe the ones that are already announced, but who's been your like favorite team or rumor that you've heard about that you're maybe excited to play against?
Um, I heard a rumor that Sadhak is gonna be
Mm,
in KC, and like I heard rumors that it's gonna be Aves, Suigetsu, and this team. I think I'm excited to play against KC.
yeah.
I respect Ang a lot. I think he's a great coach, and I believe that he's gonna cook something, and it's always interesting to play against KC.
Well, my hot take for 2025 is Sugetsu under Eng is going to be like a top 5 player in EMEA. I think they're going to cook. I think they're going to work
Yeah,
very well
possibly,
together, but we'll
possible.
see. We'll see. Obviously, it's only rumors. It's only rumors, that team.
Yeah.
Uh, who knows what will have been announced by the time I put this out? Uh, is there any team in particular that you'd really like to beat next year? It doesn't have to be from EMEA, can be from anywhere. I'm guessing maybe EDG, but we'll see what your answer is.
Um, Honestly, like I just want to mention that I think NA is really strong, and I
Okay.
think NA is really stacked. They have like I think NA as a region is stronger right now than EU. I think they have a lot of good players, and I really want to play against Sentinels because I think they got upgrade. Like I
Okay.
think Narrate is like a really insane player, and I think like I heard that Dance didn't want to play Valorant, that he's not enjoying kinda. So getting like Bangs, that the young guy who's like really ambitious, I think that's
Mm,
upgrade as well. And like on paper, that team looks really really good, and I just really want to play against them.
sounds good. Well, to
Also,
finish,
also, also,
oh, go on.
I think Zekan is the second best duelist in the world after me, of course.
Okay, after
So
you. I was about to say.
like I respect this guy so much. I think he's really really talented and really good player. So I really want to play against him.
Okay, I'm liking it. You're creating rivalries for us. Now, to finish things off, I always like to do this, but I think it's probably easier for you. The Heretics fan base. I think they've been incredible this year. So just to sign off the video, is there anything you would like to say to just the Heretics guys at home who are ready for 2025?
I mean, I want to say that like no matter like if we fail or win, just uh like support us. We're trying our best, and thank you so much for like last year. The amount of support we got is just like unbelievable. I got a lot of messages that I couldn't just physically answer, and like I'm super thankful for everyone who just like writes me good words. Like it's always a pleasure, to get like good words in your request.
Mm.
So yeah, thank you a lot, and we're not gonna disappoint you next year. And it's good time to be Heretics fan.
It definitely seems like it is. Correct me if I'm wrong as well. You're playing at the Red Bull tournament, right? Is that the next thing you're playing in?
Yes, I think it's gonna be in November 20th.
Awesome. Well, I'll see you there. I'm sure that all of the fans will be ready for that event. It's going to be fun. MiniBoo, it's been a pleasure. Thank you very much for coming and doing an interview. And yeah, I'll see you soon.
Yeah, thank you so much. Bye bye.
All right. Bye, guys. Make sure to subscribe, like, and obviously comment on who you would like to see me interview next. I do have one or two in the works, but we had to start with MiniBoo. Bye.
See ya.